Hello, welcome back to my channel. I have my mannequin Diana with me today and I'm going to show you how to straighten hair, just the basics of straightening your hair. So I got this idea from someone named Jack in my comments. He's been really asking me to straighten my mannequin's hair for you guys. So let's get into the tutorial. Alright, so the flat iron I am using today is called the Nano Titanium by Babyliss Pro. And it is an extra long plates on it, so you can cover more ground with the hair instead of, like I'd say most plates on flat irons are like this long, so you can kind of cover more hair with it. I will say this is not my favorite flat iron. I am looking to get a GHD in the future, so just so you know, I'm looking for a new flat iron. We are going to section the mannequin's hair. And with flat ironing, you don't want thick sections, because if you go to flat iron this whole thing, you're only flat ironing this top part and this bottom part, and the whole middle section is not feeling the heat. So that ends up burning the hair because you end up having to go over and over and over that one section if it's too thick. So it burns this part of the hair and the bottom part of the hair that you're touching the flat iron over and over on, and the middle part is not getting that straight anyways. So you don't want to do too many passes over the hair because you don't want to burn your hair. So you want to take small sections as you flat iron hair. And always use a heat protectant on your hair. For when I curl my hair, I like a heat protectant that also has hold. But for flat ironing, I don't like it to have hold, because I find that the flat iron, as you're going down the strand of hair, it kind of goes because it gets sticky. Whereas like with a curling iron, you're just kind of wrapping it around and you want that hold to hold your curls in. Whereas you don't necessarily need the hold for the straight. I'd rather it be sleek. So I use the Kenra Platinum Blow Dry Spray. It's an advanced thermal protectant. It helps you dry your hair really fast, so I really love it for blow drying. But I also love it for flat ironing hair because it has that sleek, smooth finish to it and helps the flat iron glide through the hair. So I really, really recommend picking some of this up. But I will say you don't need a lot of product. Don't put too much or your hair kind of feels greasy. So it's a very fine mist, so I'm going to spray that onto the hair. And you're going to want to brush that through. You want to get the hair brushed through when you're flat ironing, because if you just flat iron over the tangles, you're like making it be kinked because you're flat ironing the kinks, whereas if you brush it out, there's no kinks and you're going to kind of smooth it down, if that makes sense. You want to brush it because the kinks, if you flat iron over that, it kinks the hair and also it breaks the hair easy, and you don't want to break your hair basically. So I'm going to get a section like this, and I put the flat iron straight up and I just go down like that. And see, it's not perfectly straight. I'm going to do that one more time. And this time I'm going to get my brush or a comb and put the brush in front of the flat iron. And you're going to go like this. But don't touch the brush to the flat iron or you'll melt your brush or your comb. And that kind of helps it. And that kind of helps it to be extra straight. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do that again. I normally use a comb. I don't know why I grabbed a brush for this. Maybe I'm going to go grab my comb because it feels awkward with a brush. There you go. Nice and straight. I'm going to go grab my comb. I couldn't find my carbon comb, which I would really recommend investing in a carbon comb if you are flat ironing a lot of clients' hair or your own hair, because it doesn't melt with the heat on it, whereas these plastic combs, They're gonna melt if you touch it with the flat iron, but I'm just gonna be careful and not touch it with the flat iron. But a carbon comb is really awesome for flat ironing your hair. Alright, so now that I pulled down the next section, I can kind of see what's curly and what is straight, because this one is nice and sleek. So I kind of separate that out and hold underneath, and I'm going to spray it with the Kenra spray. And you're going to want to brush it through, make sure the strands are all protected with that thermal protectant. I like to do 2 sections just because. Also, a lot of people, if you have really curly hair, which this mannequin doesn't and I don't, but a lot of people with really curly hair, the curls tend to like bunch up right here. So what you can do, if her hair, imagine her hair is really curly, you kind of want to hold with tension and tap it close to the scalp. So you don't burn your client or your own hair. You just kind of want to go and tap it, because if you go and clamp too close to the scalp, you could burn them. So I like to just do the tapping method and then bring it down. So grab a comb. You want the comb in front of the flat iron so everything is nice and combed through, no kinks, and that keeps it nice and straight. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do this on the whole head of hair. And I can kind of see a little bit of a wave left here. I'm going to let the hair cool a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and do it again, because the more times you pass through the hair, the hotter and hotter the hair gets. I don't want to burn her hair, so I let it cool a little bit. I'm going to get this little section just one more time. There we go, and straight. So when I start getting around the head, I just take half sections instead of having to part the whole around the U shape of the head. I just take half this section, I'll flat ironing this, and then I'll take this part down and flat iron that. Just so it's not overwhelming and so much hair to deal with. She's tipping over. Again, if you have very curly hair or your client has very curly hair, you're going to find like their sideburn area and right by their face is going to be very curly, so I just grab it really tight and just tap, tap, tap. You don't want to burn their ear or their hair or their face or their scalp. Another thing, you don't want to leave the flat iron on too long in one place. You want to keep it moving. Alright, I sped up this video so that's not an hour-long tutorial, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about the flat irons and different types and the temperatures and everything. So there's generally 3 types of flat irons. There's ceramic, tourmaline, or titanium. A ceramic one, it heats evenly. It's generally your cheapest type of hair flat iron. I sound like an idiot, but I promise I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, ceramic heats evenly on the plates. But most of the cheapy ones, they are only coated in ceramic, so it kind of gets hot spots on it. And you want one that says it's triple baked ceramic, which means it's fully ceramic, so then you don't get those hot spots and burn portions of your hair. The next one, tourmaline, I'm not quite sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's made out of a gemstone that gives out negative ions in the hair, which helps smooth the cuticle down. It helps you have a very beautiful finished look, and it keeps the hair smooth, and gives it like a longer lasting finish because of those negative ions that the tourmaline gemstones give off. And then a titanium one, which is the one I'm using in this video. And like I said, it's not my favorite flat iron. I don't really love it. I would love to get a tourmaline flat iron, but mine in this video is titanium. It's a very smooth metal that glides on the hair very well, and it's more durable than ceramic. Temperature for flat irons, so many flat irons go to like 500 degrees, and you do not need that on your hair. You should probably stay within the 365 degrees Fahrenheit to 400 degrees. You want to keep it within that range. It allows for the most styling benefits in the fewest strokes. Going over the same piece over and over because it's not hot enough is also damaging, so you don't want it to be too low of a heat. But also going over and over the same piece, if you are within that temperature range, it means your tension is not strong enough. You can see I go over and over on a few of these pieces. I blame my flat iron on this because it is such long plates on this flat iron. I can't get the tension evenly throughout it, whereas the regular size flat irons, the tension is a lot easier to control. And last thing I would like to talk about, you should be cleaning your flat iron regularly, periodically, I guess, not regularly, but you do that by when it's cooling down but not burning hot. You just get a wet rag with water and just wipe it down. You don't want to have that product and that residue that has burned onto the plates to stay there, because then you're not getting the benefits of the metal of the ceramic or titanium or tourmaline. You're not getting those benefits because it's coated in the residue. But that is my little quick snippets about flat irons. I hope that helps. Alright, and you are with me on this last section now. I'm planning on doing a voiceover, so probably you heard all of that information and hopefully it makes sense. I wanted to do a voiceover because when I talk, I kind of do hair really slow, and this would be a very long tutorial if I was talking and explaining all of that information to you. So that is why I decided to do a voiceover for this. But for this last section, I also wanted to explain, if you pick up this product, what happens is like it kind of steams because of the product. It's burning the product off rather than burning your hair. So I don't know if the video quite catches it. You can see a little bit of like steam coming off of the hair. I don't know if the video catches it, but sometimes when I'm doing people's hair, I make sure they know I'm not burning their hair. That's not smoke, it's just steam of the product. So I just wanted to note that. But her hair, I think it doesn't quite get straight right on her shoulder because there's such a harsh drop off of her shoulder right there. But you get the idea, right? Like I said, this is not my favorite flat iron. It's too long to use, and I don't even use long sections like it wants me to with how long the blades are, or whatever plates are. It's like way too long, and I don't even use all of that because I like smaller sections. I have more control with them, and so like it's just too long and too much to handle, and I really want to get a GHD, which hopefully in the near future I can get one. Alright, and that's the end of my tutorial. I hope you learned something. Here is her beautiful straight hair. Let me know if you learned something in the comments below. Also, like and subscribe if you want. I would really appreciate it. Her hair's so soft, I can't stop touching it. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Kim N Lo. I also have a TikTok account that's also at Kim N Lo. And I also sell hair clips if you haven't seen that as well. So these are just some of my favorite Kim N Lo hair clips. I hand make all of them, and it's a lot of fun if you want to check out my Etsy shop. It's called Kim N Lo because I am Kim, and my daughter's name is Marlo, so I kind of put Kim N Lo for that. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope to see you next week.